The year 2025 has finally confirmed the war between Russia and Ukraine is not only a regional conflict, it is a test for the entire Western world. While Ukraine is holding back aggression in the east, its allies are strengthening their defenses, increasing their military budgets, and increasingly preparing for a scenario in which the Kremlin's next target could be any country that previously considered itself safe. The example of Finland is particularly clear. While the Russian army is trying to break through the Ukrainian defense, Helsinki is taking radical measures to protect its border and turning from a neutral country into one of the most active participants in NATO. At the same time, the AFU is demonstrating a new level of warfare. Point-blank, high-tech strikes on key logistics facilities, including fuel trains. Meanwhile, in Russia itself, there's a protracted offensive crisis and increasingly unconvincing statements about willingness to negotiate. This article brings these events together to show that Europe is no longer hoping for dialogue. It is preparing for Putin's next move, and doing so in earnest. Finland. From neutrality to NATO's military frontier, Finland has long been seen as an example of diplomatic balance, a country with a solid democracy, a high standard of living, and a neutral foreign policy. But since 2022, everything has changed. Following Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Finnish society and government began a rapid shift towards defense mobilization. The first real step is the construction of a 200-kilometer steel fence along the border with Russia. This is not just an engineering structure, it is a symbol of the end of the era of trust and the beginning of the era of direct threat. The fence is equipped with cameras, loudspeakers, lights, sensors. It is being built not only to contain migratory pressure, but also with a view to possible military incidents. At the same time, the country has seen a sharp increase in interest in military training. Defense courses, previously attended by 100 and 150 participants, now attract up to 70,000 people a year. Women are especially active in enrolling, since men in Finland are subject to compulsory service. This shows one thing. The fear of possible Russian aggression has become a personal factor for hundreds of thousands of Finns. Joining NATO in 2023 was a radical political step. But even more importantly, Finland has not just joined, but has become active. Joint exercises with the US, Sweden, and Norway have already taken place. More than 20,000 troops are involved. An air patrol mission for the Baltic is in operation, and the Finnish Air Force led the way in the Arctic Challenge 2023. Helsinki is also increasing its defense budget from 2% of GDP in 2023 to 3.3% by 2032, putting the country at the top of military spending in the alliance. Ukraine, a pinpoint strike that has shaken Russia's logistics. While Finland is consolidating in the northwest, Ukraine continues to launch pinpoint strikes that undermine the Russian army's combat capability. One such example is a drone attack on a Russian fuel train in the Zaporozhye region on May 24, 2025. This was not just a diversion, it was a demonstration of a new level of tactical planning. 5 drones, including 3 FPV strike drones and 2 DJI Mavic 3 reconnaissance drones, conducted a complex operation to destroy an 8-cistern train carrying 560 tons of diesel fuel. The train was traveling on the Vern-Takmak-Molokansk line and was carrying enough fuel to supply 2 battalions for a week. Drone strikes hit tanks 3, 6, and 8, each of which was destroyed with shaped charges. Temperatures inside reached 12,500 degrees. The fire engulfed the entire train, destroyed the roadbed, and put the site out of service for weeks. The operation is remarkable, not only for the result, but also for the way it was executed. Ukrainian operators use optical and thermal guidance, switching between 3 frequency bands, resistance to jamming and GPS spoofing, autonomous algorithms based on neural networks for final guidance. The system showed resistance to Russian REB systems, LER-3, which indicates a qualitative, technological breakthrough of the AFU in the field of unmanned warfare. Russia, Offensive stalled, diplomacy imitated. Against the backdrop of Ukraine's successes and mobilization of allies, Russia is demonstrating the opposite dynamic. According to Estonian intelligence and President Zelensky's statements, Russia's summer offensive has stalled. Russian troops advanced 200 meters in a week before being pushed back 400 meters. Even the attempt to concentrate a strike group near Pokrovskoye did not bring results. According to the Ukrainian president's estimate, there are about 695 Russian troops on Ukrainian territory, plus additional forces in the Kharkiv and Sumy directions. However, the scale does not ensure efficiency. The front is up, losses are growing, and the offensive has slowed down to the level of tactical skirmishes. Against this background, Vladimir Putin declares in an interview that he is ready to meet with Zelensky. But he puts forward legal reservations: who will sign, whether Ukraine has a legitimate government, and so on. This does not look like a sincere attempt at peace, but rather a diplomatic maneuver against the backdrop of military failures. Why it's all one news story. Although events are happening in different countries, they form a single chain of reactions to Russian policy. Ukraine shows it can win, but needs continued support. Finland, moving away from neutrality, building a military economy, and strengthening NATO. Russia, losing momentum, looking for propaganda outlets, and facing resistance both inside and outside Ukraine. This is not a localized war. It is already a global reconfiguration of international security. Europe no longer believes in stability without force. And judging by Finland's actions, it is prepared for the worst. Today's conflict goes beyond the borders of Ukraine. It is a struggle for the architecture of a new world. Ukraine, despite the pressure, is proving that it is possible to hit with a point and hard. Finland demonstrates that neutrality is not a guarantee of security. And Russia shows that aggression is no longer strategically fruitful, even with numerical superiority. The question remains, will 2025 be the year when the world moves from defense to deterrence, or from deterrence to direct repulsion?
If you like this video and want to continue receiving honest analytics without censorship, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Your subscription helps us to remain independent and say what others are silent about. Give us a like if you think it's important to raise such topics, and be sure to write in the comments what you think about what you've seen. We value your opinion. Share this video with your friends so that as many people as possible know the truth. Your activity is not just a button, it's a contribution to spreading real information. We are stronger together. Thank you for being with us. See you in the next issue.